Hey guys, Joe here again. So again, sorry about the audio quality if it's not that great. So in this video, I just want to talk about a few ways to increase the amount of money that you are making at your contracting business. So most people will say, I need to book more jobs, and that's how you're going to make more money. Yes, that's definitely one way, but definitely not the only way. The other thing that we can start looking at is one obvious is, okay, so booking more jobs. The other thing you can do is start charging more money. And a lot of times the amount that you're charging extra is disproportionate to the your overall profit percent. So what I mean by that is, just say your average project size is $10,000, and you go and just say your profit's, I don't know, 20 or 30%, so you're making $3,000, right? Well, what you could do instead is, instead of charging $10,000, just raise it to $10,500, right? And it may not seem like that big of a deal, but you're going from, making $3,000 in profit to $3,500 in profit. So even though you're increasing the project price by 5%, what you end up doing is you're actually increasing the amount of profit that you make by, like, I don't know, 18%, somewhere around there. And it's the easiest way to honestly make more money. People say, well, I can't charge that much, because I'm going to lose customers. Maybe. But again, I'm not saying, we're charging $2,000 and you're charging now $2,500, or, $1,000 and charging $1,500. Like, it was a $10,000 project and now you're charging, $10,500. So if that's going to make or break you, then you got some sales problems, right? The other thing that you can do is start looking at how to decrease the amount of the cost for the project, right? And some of the ways that you can do that is, and we're doing it now, is trying to go through different suppliers, right? And because all of them are like, well, we're only, making, 3%, 5% on truckloads and blah, blah, blah. But then we start calling around and we're getting drastically cheaper prices. I'm not saying we're going from, if we pay $100 per panel, now it's like, oh, we're getting for 50. No, but it could be going from 100 to 95, something like that, which doesn't sound that much, but when you start looking at, when you're selling hundreds of something, then it does make a big difference. And so for this, what I would do is start looking at whatever you sell the most of. So whatever your line of business is, focus on the 80%. So, because I might have a chance to, on this particular type of material, go from getting charged $20 to $10 compared to these other things that might be taking me from, $20 to $18. But when I start looking at the volume, even though I might only be saving $2 compared to $10 on a certain product, I'm better to focus my time on that because I just sell a shit ton more of it, right? So it's probably going to be the same for you. The other way that you can make more money is start looking at the jobs that are just more profitable, right? So every type of business, you do more than one service, right? So for a fence company, you have vinyl fence installation, you have cedar fence installation, chain link, aluminum, pressure treated, things like that. If you start tracking your sales, what you're going to start seeing is that certain types of jobs are just way more profitable than the other ones, right? And for whatever reason. Now, the other thing to look at is it's not just a time thing. So I guess going back, so just say vinyl, on average, you're, able to turn a 30% profit, whereas aluminum, maybe you can charge 40 and 50%. So start looking at it that way. The other way is it's not necessarily looking at just the profit percent, but you can also start looking at how much profit per day, right? And this is the one thing that my fence company focused on that was different than pretty much everywhere else. So we didn't look at, because we just sold the fence company and now the new owner, they focus on percents, right? So I don't know exactly, they just, whatever the materials and labor are, they tack on, 40, 50% or whatever numbers they happen to do, right? Where we didn't do that. We looked at how much profit per day per crew that we were making. That's the way we looked at it. And the reason why I did it that way is because I knew that, if we had 2 crews and on average they're installing 4 days a week, that I have basically 8 installed days, right? So I could look at the percent, but what we did is we were originally just say $1,200 in profit per day per crew, right? And then what we started doing is, you know, every week we would start adding more to that. So, you know, the first week was 1,200, then it was 1,300, then 1,400, and 1,500. And what we saw is, because we didn't make that giant leap, right? Because we didn't go from 1,200 to 2,200, it was better for us mentally, right? Because a lot of times if you're like, oh, I'm charging way too much and this and that you are naturally going to sell yourself out of the job, right? Because they're going to, even though you might not say, you're probably not going to say, look, this is just way too expensive, go somewhere else. Your body tone or your body, your voice, everything else is basically making the customer feel that way, that they should try to go somewhere else. Because if you're thinking it, you're projecting that to them, right? So, and this can be, you know, the same thing. If you're charging 10,000, maybe not go to 10.5 right away. Go to 10.1. Start feeling comfortable with that. Then 10.2. You know, it's the same thing. But with us doing it profit per day per crew, we were able to drastically make more money. Plus for us, it was more of something that was more tangible, right? So we could focus on and see like, oh, we went from $1,200 to $1,500, right? And honestly, we kept on going up and up and up and up. Towards the end, I think we were at like 2,300 a day. So we were almost double the amount of profit per day. Okay. So, and then what we also started doing is looking at the different types of jobs. So if there's certain types of jobs that we didn't want to do, we would just drastically increase how much we were charging, right? So that way we could eliminate, you know, hopefully that they would say no, but if they happen to say yes, then we were able to, it was at least worth their time, right? Now, speaking of that, another way to make more money instead of charging more money is just say you're using subcontractors, right? And just say, oh, what are they doing over here? So just say you have two subs. One is, one has two guys, you know, it's the owner and two guys. And then the other one is like 5 guys, right? And so what we started doing is monitoring our schedule a little bit tighter. And it was basically if, so say the smaller jobs, right? We'd have jobs that were like up to 20 posts, and then we had jobs that were 30, 40 posts, something like that. And so what we end up doing is for the bigger jobs, we would send it to the team that had more crew, right? And the reason why we did it is because then we could start looking at, like, if we originally would have got that job done in 2 days and we were charging $1,500 per day in profit, now we're getting it in 1 day. Now you go from making $1,500 a day to $3,000 a day. And, you know, you can incorporate that into your schedule. So just some random ideas. Hope this helps. Have a great day. See you.